I'm wondering if your recent comments have anything to do with several Alberta NDP leadership candidates, saying publicly that the carbon tax has lost public support, that it's on its way out, and it's dead.
Welcome back to Northern Perspective, everyone. I'm Cypher.
And I'm Fox. Justin Trudeau and Jagmeet Singh recently held press conferences across the country from each other, but somehow they managed to steer them both in the same direction, straight into the ground.
Let's take a look.
Yesterday, the Prime Minister was in Saskatoon. He had some pretty tough language for the Saskatchewan Premier. He said that the CRA is going to continue to dole out the carbon tax rebates to Saskatchewanians no matter what. But he also suggested they were still going to collect the carbon tax from Saskatchewan. What do you think about this kind of standoff, and how do you see it coming to a conclusion?
Well, what I've seen with the Prime Minister is really a divisive approach to fighting the climate crisis. One that should be a fight where we're all united. We all are seeing the impacts. In fact, right now we're in Alberta, and we've got fires that are happening just in the city limits. We've got fires already. Early in the season, and there's already fires in central Alberta and in northern communities. So we know that the impacts of the climate crisis are real, and we need a plan where we are all united in fighting back. And what the Liberals have done has been to sow division with their plan. And so what New Democrats want to do is we want a plan where we bring people together. We absolutely know that it is fundamentally important for us to protect our environment. Canadians know that. Canadians want to do their part. But Canadians don't want to be put in a false contrast or a false division between having to choose between affordability or choosing between fighting the climate crisis. So what we want to propose is a plan where we make life affordable, where we take on the climate crisis and reduce our emissions, and we take on big polluters. That's what New Democrats want to do. And so my message to Justin Trudeau would be, we need a plan that's more fair for workers. When workers see billions of dollars in subsidies going to big polluters, and there's no money in place for everyday Canadians to get a heat pump, that feels unfair. That's what we're talking about when we talk about unfairness in a plan. We need a plan that's fair for working people, that stops the big polluters, and that ensures that we've got a good economy, good jobs, and affordability.
So Jagmeet has 7 people behind him. That's all he could muster.
That's his whole entourage, is it?
Mind you, he is in Alberta, so where the NDP is projected to only win 1 seat, and the Conservatives are projected to win all but 1 seat in the next election. So it's not really that surprised to see. Usually we say, look at the dozens of people. Now he can't even manage a dozen. He's just he's over half a dozen at this point. So anyhow, he started out well within the first 5 seconds when his answer was directed at Trudeau being divisive, but then he just completely fell off the rails when he said, "Oh well, look, there's fires. There's fires already within the city limits. Clearly, that's climate change."
Well,
stop.
We've said it in the past, and we'll say it again. Canada has a horrible forestries management system, and it's because it's blowfully underfunded. Maybe if the Liberals stop squandering our money and actually put it towards things that we need, like a good forestries program, then they can get in there, sweep out the underbrush, take out the dead forest, and just let things happen naturally.
Well, and from what we've heard, we don't actually have a single water bomber, owned by the federal government. We don't have anything. We have to rent them from private organizations.
And the other thing that I've read is that they don't set as many what do they call them, controlled burns or controlled fires as they should. And so when lightning strikes and you've got all this dead underbrush, of course a fire sparks and it burns out of control because you haven't set a controlled fire.
Well, and remember, the number one cause of forest fires is people. We're the ones who cause it. Now, the environmentalists will say, well, but still, climate change, it dries out all the forests, and that's why they're so bad. Well, no. No.
I mean, great to hear some of the specifics about what that climate change plan is from New Democrats, but you've also created a lot of confusion about what your stance is on the carbon tax with some of your recent comments. I'm wondering if your recent comments have anything to do with several Alberta NDP leadership candidates, saying publicly that the carbon tax has lost public support, that it's on its way out, and it's dead. I mean, has that, I guess, played a role in or a factor in what we're now hearing from you? Like, a lot of people want to know specifically where you stand on the carbon tax.
Well, I've said again and again, my position has not changed. Absolutely, we believe in a price on pollution. We have seen the cost of pollution. We have seen the impacts in our water where waste has been dumped into water, polluting our waters. We've seen the impacts in our communities with the climate change. I've been to communities where they experience extreme forest fires and extreme flooding in the same year. They've never seen that happen before. I've been to communities where people evacuated from their homes to the capital city and then had to be evacuated from the capital city. That happened in Northwest Territories. So we know that the impacts of the climate crisis are real. We absolutely have to take on the causes. And we have, between the choice that Canadians have, we've got conservatives that are, when they say what their plan is, they're saying that they have no plan. They want to allow big polluters to dump into our waters, pollute our air, pollute our land, do whatever they want. No limits. Pollute as much as you want. That's not a plan. That's wrong. Of course, Canadians don't want to see pollution be dumped into our water and our land and our air.
No, we don't.
And you say it's the Conservatives who do?
Yeah. So he keeps repeating this over and over again. Now, notice he's not talking about toxic waste anymore, but he's saying, oh well, the Conservatives they're saying pollute however you want. Well, let's just take a look, shall we? So, True North, they had a question about this as well, because they actually couldn't find any evidence, just as we couldn't find any evidence of Pierre or the Conservatives doing anything of the sort. And they actually contacted the NDP and asked them for the evidence, and they, none surprisingly, did not receive a reply back. But in an article in True North, this is what they say. In an email to True North, Conservative spokesperson Sebastian Skamsky pointed to the fact that the Liberals and NDP in fact voted to kill a bill introduced by the Conservatives in 2021 that proposed to prohibit the dumping of toxic sewage into Canadian waters. Really? Well, we had to fact check that because we wanted to make sure that the Conservatives were on the right side of truth here. So, ladies and gentlemen, the article cites Bill C-269. Let's take a look at Bill C-269. This was introduced in February of 2021, and it is called an Act to Amend the Fisheries Act, Prohibition Deposit of Raw Sewage. No, this could not be a Conservative bill. Oh, wait, it was introduced by Mr. Andrew Scheer. Surely this can't have anything to do with prohibiting raw sewage dumping. Right? Well, okay, let's just take a look here. Oh, well, they're looking to add the definition of raw sewage, so raw sewage is in here. And, okay. So we're amending the Act in Section 36 by adding the following. No person shall deposit or permit the deposit of raw sewage in water frequented by fish. And they're even suggesting here that there's an offense and punishment. Every person who contravenes subsections 36.1, 3, or 3.1 is guilty of an offense and liable. No, this can't be right. What happened? This must be a mistake, folks. So we take a look. First reading was completed on February 18th, 2021, as we said. Now, second reading was not completed. Why? What happened? Well, on June 23rd, 2021, there was a vote. What happened in that vote? Well, there was 120 Conservatives that voted to actually continue that bill in the House, and 211 people voted against it. Who voted against it, you may ask? Well, let's see, there's liberals and NDPs and more liberals and more NDPs and more liberals, and even the Bloc voted against this. So, ladies and gentlemen,
Who is it again that wants to dump toxic waste in our waterways?
well, there's no evidence that the Conservatives want that, but there's certainly evidence that the NDP and the Bloc and the Liberals want to prevent any repercussions of people that do. So, by definition, you can read into that the Liberals and the NDP want to enable people to be able to dump waste into rivers and lakes. So, good luck with that one, Jagmeet. And we'll be tagging the Conservative Party on this one. I'm sure they'll be very interested in that. But they already know. Like,
Yeah, the information came from their office.
They already know. Like, it's just amazing. These people have such short memories, and they start putting out these tropes. And, like, just wait till question period. I'm sure this is going to come up. Anyhow, so Jagmeet is not going to have a fun time dealing with that, and he's continuing to flounder when it comes to the carbon tax, because it sounds like they are backing away of the consumer carbon tax. They're saying, well, you know, we our position haven't changed. We still believe there's a price on pollution, but what he seems to be implying is that it should only be on industry. That's what he's implying. And the provincial NDP, they've completely backed away from it. So he's going to be stuck because he has completely bungled this whole carbon tax position. And I think he's going to be regretting it very, very soon. Now, let's get on to Justin Trudeau. So this was a press conference that occurred with Ontario Premier Doug Ford. And they were welcoming or announcing, really, a deal with Honda to manufacture vehicles in Ontario. And this was supposed to be kind of Ford's day. Now, say what you want of Ford. We don't particularly agree with Ford's leadership. We didn't vote for him in the last in the last election. We didn't vote for anybody in the last election. We declined our ballot, I think, as we've said, because we don't think he's a good premier. So it doesn't matter what party you are you going to do a good job? Now, be that as it may, this was a press conference about his announcement. Now, Justin Trudeau was asked about something related to the federal government. Just keep your eye on Doug Ford.
There is some indication that Canadians are not giving you any credit for the policies in the budget. Why do you think that is?
This is not about credit. This is about doing the right thing. This is about making sure that Canada is fair. The reality is for millennials and Gen Z, the economy doesn't seem fair. The opportunities that were there for their parents and grandparents to work hard, be able to save up and buy a home and build a future and a family for themselves just don't seem there for far too many young people, including young people who have great jobs, who work a side hustle, who are doing everything right. But instead of home ownership getting closer to where they are, is getting further and further away. That's not fair. But it's also not good for the economy. We need our young Canadians, our young families to be optimistic about the future. We need them to be confident about their hard work paying off.
Ford, you should not play poker.
He has a very bad poker face.
You really should not be playing poker.
But you know, all these things that JT is saying, it's things that you and I have been saying on this channel for I don't even know how long.
Yeah.
And it's not that it's the economy that's not fair or the upper generations making things not fair for the younger generations. It's the way Justin Trudeau has managed this country. It's out of control immigration. It's out of control budget spending. These are the things that are hurting young Canadians. Our grandchildren's grandchildren are going to be saddled with the debt that Trudeau is causing right now.
Well, and it's absolutely ridiculous. And Pierre and the Conservatives are actually leaning into this. in the right way. Because all you're hearing for Trudeau is, this isn't fair. None of it's fair. And Pierre is saying, I agree with you. Why did you make it that way?
If he finds out who's been running this place for the last 9 years, there will be hell to pay.
And that's the whole point.
Well, and JT's doing the only thing he knows how to do, which is act like a spoiled child. That's not fair. That's not fair. These are the consequences of your actions. You are the idiot leading this country, and you have caused all these problems. So don't say, it's not fair. It's not fair. You know what? It's not fair to those of us who didn't vote Liberal, but here we are. Now step aside and let a real leader take over and fix this country.
There's no excuse here. And this is where Ford is just like, this is supposed to be my day, and this guy is just going on and on and on and on, and he's just like, how do I get out of this crap? And he's looking to some of his people on the right, and he's looking to some of his people on the left. He even popped a mint in his mouth. He's just like, how do I get out of this? And he's just trying to sit there with a smile because that's all he can do.
That's why we've put forward a budget focused on fairness, asking the most successful to pay a bit more to ensure that younger Canadians, indeed every generation, can see the success that we need for this country. Whether it's massive investments in housing supply, building close to 4 million homes over the coming years. Whether it's moving forward on fairness measures like more childcare spaces, infrastructure that's going to help people get around and see more communities. Growing the economy in meaningful ways by drawing in great careers for the future generations. These are the kinds of things that make a huge difference. And that's the clear choice Canadians are going to be faced with in the next election. Do we invest in a stronger future? Or do we pull back and say, no, government shouldn't be doing any of that?
The second thing.
And Ford, the smile's gone. He's just, again, say what you want about Ford. We're not a fan, but we agree with the complete disgust that is on his face right now. He's just looking at Trudeau being like, dude, what the hell are you talking about? Like, come on. You're the one that has been screwing over the provinces with your stupid programs. We all fell for with the $10 a day daycare, and then you said it's our fault that these daycares are going under. Why would we sign up for something else?
Yeah, what do you think is going to happen with a farmer care program, which most of the provinces already have, by the way? Or what do you think is going to happen with a school lunch program?
Or the dental program that no dentists are signing up for.
Government should leave the economy to work itself out. Well, what happens then is too many people fall out of the middle class.
Wait a minute.
I'm pretty sure that under Harper, the middle class grew more than any other government.
This guy is saying, well, the Conservatives just, they want the economy to work itself out. Well, you want the budget to work itself out.
And the budget will balance itself.
Come on, man. Like, are you listening to yourself? And you talk about the middle class. With the new tax, you will put the nail in the coffin of the middle class, guy. They can't stay middle class if you keep taxing the hell out of them.
Trickle down doesn't work. Austerity doesn't work. A government that's there to create programs like dental care for seniors and Canadians who don't have dental coverage. Create pharmacare to make sure that young women can access prescription contraceptives, and people can access their diabetes medications to prevent catastrophic consequences. Investments in more childcare spaces. Investments in drawing in global leaders like Honda to build the kind of future we want. These are the choices we're making. It's not about political popularity. It's about doing the right thing to set every generation up for success for the coming decades, and that's what we're going to continue to do.
This concludes today's press conference. Thank you, everyone.
Did you see that rejection of Chrystia Freeland at the end?
That was amazing. I wouldn't want to touch her either.
Like, Chrystia Freeland goes to give Doug Ford, no. No, thank you. Please don't rub the stupid off on me. I would rather not. I'm dumb enough. Like,
I don't need any more.
like he shook Trudeau's hand because he had to, and then was just like, no, I'm done. I'm out of here. But this is what you're getting, folks, and this is what you're going to see from Trudeau. He's going to be trying to mooch off of any of the provincial announcements that are actually occurring, get his own photo op in, upstage everybody else, and it's just going to demonstrate to Canadians what we all know Justin Trudeau is. He's a camera hog, he's a narcissist, and he has absolutely no business running this country.